Okay, in this video, I wanted to talk to you about what I think is an incredibly important tone shaping trick within the Axe FX, the FM3 and the FM9, really any modeler, but we've got a little bit more flexibility here than other modelers, so I thought it made sense to talk about it because I think it's one of the most powerful tone shapers going. These videos are brought to you by G66 UK, which is your place to get the Axe FX3, FM3 or FM9 or the VP4. No waitlist, and your UK service centre will deal with any issues that you might have, unlikely as they are. Now, here is the element that we're going to talk about. It is this high cut here. Now, I'm going to turn it all the way off to start with, and I think that's going to make a good amount of sense. Now, I guess actually maybe I should start with a clean tone. So if we've got a clean tone, one of the things that we can do like, it's not so much of an issue. Like, that might sound quite bright, or it might not. You know, it'll probably sound brighter if we could do this sort of thing. But the thing is, once you start to introduce drive, when we can start to get some slightly more fatiguing frequencies that maybe in real life with an amplifier we'd have our ears positioned in such a way, because we wouldn't be stood right in front of the mic, right in front of the cab, that we wouldn't have some of those kind of more piercing highs, which to my mind are some of the things that I try to avoid when I'm dealing with a modeler. So let's just load that preset up again. So this one is JC John Cordy Tones 3, I believe is what it's called. So the main trick really is that as you introduce more gain, we can use this high cut to really smooth things out a bit, to shape the level where we want it. Now, we've got quite a lot of flexibility here, so you can go with a steeper curve. So this is the amount of decibels it will cut per octave. So bear in mind this is actually a slope, not a hard cut. So when you see the word high cut, don't think that it's actually cutting things as much as your eyes might tell you. But yeah, I'll flash up on the screen what a 6 dB and 12 dB cut actually look like. It's just the way that the EQ slopes, and that slope starts at wherever this is. So for example, if we listen, like if that 24 dB per octave down at 4, so you see that is making like a huge amount of difference. So for me, typically I would use the 6 dB per octave. But I'm not afraid to go as far down as 4.2, 3.9 kilohertz, around there. To kind of give me a bit more of a smoother, higher gain tone, and particularly if you like on a very Now, something else that we could potentially do here is try and find what frequencies are bothering us. Maybe I'll do that in like a fresh block. But the high cut is effective, but in other ways it is kind of, you know, a little bit of a quick fit. I feel like it's around 4 kilohertz where I'm getting, so this is, I'm afraid, kind of just noise from the monitor, but I think the high cut possibly sounds a bit more natural than that. Another thing that we could do though is like a shelving EQ in this kind of way. Up to you what you decide works best, but for me personally, I'm very happy just going in and using the high cut on the cab. You know, I view it somewhat similar to the Alan Holdsworth. Shaving a haircut thing, and Misha Mansell does the same thing. I think especially if you're using in-ear monitors, this can really help to get away from like a bit of the overly spiky sound that can come along with those for the ride. So just get used to that in your cab block. This high cut, again, the 6 dB I think is the more sort of musical, more friendly slope. As you get higher than that, you're going to get a more steep slope and you're going to lose more of that high-end information. But you know, in some cases that might be necessary too. I don't know. It totally depends on what kind of tones you're going for. Like if you're wanting bright and sometimes sort of brighter, sort of harsher tones. And as I say, like it might not even be that necessary depending on what, you know, the gain settings are. As these gains go up, I just think it's a great tone shaper, but don't be afraid to turn the high cut off sometimes, but equally don't be afraid to turn it on. I think it's, yeah, just a crucial element that is so easy to get hold of in Fractal, and I think we should use it. especially, you know, when you're thinking this is a very bright tone. The preset I was using in the intro there was John Cordy Tones 3. That will work on FM9, AXFX 3 or FM3. So jump into the Gumroad folder, check that out. I'll catch you in another video soon, and cheers for stopping by.